My name is Ken Posner, and I'm the lighting designer for Lestat. I approach my design, my work, almost the same way an actor might approach a character, and I think that light can actually behave like a character in a play as far as mood, environment, emotion, arc of a story. Lighting for a Broadway show is much the same technique as what a cinematographer does for film. It's really about focusing the audience's eye or attention to a specific moment or to the actor's face, to a piece of scenery that might be telling a story. It's sometimes there's sleight of hand involved. It's always based on music because that's what drives the event anyway. So it's because musicals obviously are score driven. Everything that actor does or anything a scenery movement might do is all based on the score. Lestat, lighting-wise, I would say is sort of a medium-sized show. It's very simple strokes, bold angles, and a very simple cue structure. It's really about just focusing in on our main character, Lestat, on his journey and the people and the characters that Lestat interacts with. And it's really very sort of specific storytelling, helping the audience follow the story from beat to beat to beat. I'm also responsible for all the transitions in the show, which means beat to beat, scene to scene, place to place, time elapse. You know, Lestat spans over 100 years in time. It's really about dovetailing scenes together and sort of just making the entire event seamless. I think that a typical Broadway lighting where it sort of calls attention to itself and it's flashier and the color palette might be more saturated and the lights you might actually see them move in real time with the music or with actors or choreography or something. That's what people think that lighting design is, but it can also be the polar opposite with that, which is just a very subtle brushstroke, a light coming through a doorway, for instance, a moon shifting from east to west or north to south or whatever, just over a course of 5 minutes can also be equally as evocative. That's the great thing about light. You know, a piece of scenery is an object that exists, and it's there, but light can transform that object and give it different personality, and many times you can use the same object, but lit in different ways, it appears differently to an audience member. These are called magic sheets, and what this does in sort of shorthand kind of graphic way is remind me where the lights are and what they do. So I can say, oh, I need to turn the show portal red. Well, if I ask for this group of lights, they'll all come on. So as I'm writing cues and stuff, it's just a shorthand, a syntax. For instance, there's a lot of fire in Lestat. So we did these custom fire images that the lighting equipment can project in various ways. These monitors are my cue list that corresponds to lighting states that a stage manager can control. Based on where we are in the score, the storytelling, or an actor's position on stage. And the other screen is simply just a spreadsheet of numbers that correspond to different lights that are in the light plot. To this day, the shows keep evolving. You know, I might go back to Wicked because there's a new idea that we discovered in Chicago that has to be put into New York, or to Hairspray because someone came up with a different piece of staging, or someone had this notion that we should try something different. And I love that. I just like the art form. I love the idea of telling a story to a live audience and watching them respond to it. That's my passion.